get it.
This is what we're doing it for. So they all can have peace and love and happiness. Peace, love, happiness.
Amen. Amen.
Peace, love,
Happiness. Peace.
You guys are breaking my heart. This is peace, love, and happiness. Peace. We are at peace with protest. We are at peace with protest.
Hold the line!
Here comes the horses. Yeah, the horses are coming.
Back! Horses!
Hey, stand down! Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Look what you did! Look what you did to her! Look what you did to her! Look what you did to her! You trampled on the lady who is inaccessible! Shame on you! Shame on every one of you! Shame on you! On you! You just a lady who is a walker! She had a walker and she just got crushed. They just trampled a lady with a walker. Shame on you guys! Shame on you! What are you doing?
Stay peaceful!
Shame on you guys! You just trampled a lady with a walker.
Down there in Garden Fire, and that fire is in memory of all the Indigenous children that died in the residential schools. You can have certain made it back, right?
Right.
And then he asked me about ID. I said, I don't know that. I'm Indigenous. Yeah.
And what is that?
I said, I'm Indigenous.
Right.
Right? And
Right.
And he goes, but would you give me your name
What's
if I
happening?
asked for it?
Wait, what's happening? Oh, sorry.
Have a good night.
Are they leaving?
There's a choice we make. Yeah, that's a good song though. We saving all the
We love these officers.
All this for one fire, and they're burning this fire for the Indigenous kids that died. That's what this fire is for. I didn't realize it was that fire that they're after. Not even the one with the sausages. No, no, no. The one where they're all praying for the Indigenous kids. Do you see what's happening? That's why they went after the man in there too. Unbelievable. That's exactly what, that's why it's this fire and none of the rest. Well, it's okay. We know at least who they all are.
20, yeah.
Look, so they're bringing in a fire truck to put this one out specifically. Okay? None of the other ones. This one specifically. Because they're praying. Hilarious. This is too much. I can't even believe this. My mind is blown. I couldn't figure out why they're coming after that one. I was wrong the whole time. It's the one in the tent that they were praying over.
Okay. Go, guys.
I could, wow, I could cry. This is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life.
So peaceful.
Yeah, it's peaceful. It's just disgusting. Look at the fire truck. Okay, they're coming in. Put this one way out. No more praying for the Indigenous kids. Forget it. Forget it.
Are they taking it? Hope they don't burn themselves.
So when you guys are done that, can we have our supper? Like, can you guys just go? I can't get right in there. There's too many people. They'll all tell me I'm standing too close. Anyway, they're putting it out.
If everybody can please take a few steps back. Ottawa Fire is just going to do
Really need a selfie stick.
a few steps back. Okay, come on, guys. Everybody keep those big bags. Move your stuff, man. Gotta do what you gotta do. Okay. Step back, please. We're safe. Come on, boys. Step it back. Come on. Step it back.
They're just asking us all to back away from the tent, I guess, so they can put it out.
Step back.
Everybody stand back a few feet.
Come on, get them underneath.
We got a lot of people here going live, so everybody sees it all. The whole world will see. Oh, they're taking everything away. Are they? Are they taking everything from there? Is that what he just said? It's not a police, right? No. Okay, wait. Yeah, look, they're loading up the wood. Look, they're loading up all but sorry, honey. They're loading up the wood that these guys all had stacked up here. Like they're stealing it all.
Really?
And unlawfully.
What?
I don't speak English.
Oh, okay, it's okay.
Let's go, move back. Here you go, man. Everybody stand back.
So they're gonna steal everything from this to here. They're backing us all up so we can't put it on camera. Look, they're backing us all up so they can steal it all. They're taking everything. They're taking everything here. Do you see that? Look, all the food, all the wood. I just saw him take the bin of sausages. Look, everything. We already got all your names, yeah. Hey, yeah, we got all your names. I didn't get that one. Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you! We love you! Shame on you! Shame on you! We love you! Shame on you all. Your kids are gonna see this video. I'm sure they will.
They're doing their jobs, you guys.
Their job to steal your stuff is their job to steal.
I don't know how to explain it, honey.
Really?
I don't know what to say.
I've never seen anything like this. Look, they're taking the barrel.
Yeah.
They're taking everything. What is even happening? Look, these guys are trying to save some of it. And this guy's like, no, you don't. We want every last piece of wood.
Let them move it. Let them move it.
Let them steal it. Let them steal it all. The world is watching anyway. It doesn't matter. The world is watching. Disgusting. Every last one of you.
Listen, But you told us to out. And
Yeah, let him steal it.
This won't happen again. Let's move this out so it isn't an issue no more. And then
Wow.
just look after it. This is my wood.
Unreal. Look, and this guy, he's still trying to be so sweet, even though they're stealing all of his
It's not
stuff. It is stealing. They're stealing it right now.
Go stand out in the middle of a fucking great big cleared
Why aren't they
5,000
doing-
acre yard. That's
Yeah, okay.
stealing trees. I don't
I've
know.
seen this all over Ottawa, and this is the only one you guys are bugging right now.
This is
Like
all
what?
part of the game. This
All
is what
part of
this
the
is-
game.
what
The
has
whole
to be
scare
done.
tactic, right?
No, it isn't. They can be a lot scarier.
Yeah,
These
to
guys
serve
are
and
being
protect.
really nice.
Look at them protect us. Look at them
Oh, they're
protecting
being-
us by stealing everything. Look at them go. Look at them
being-
like little scavengers, taking everything. There you go. Take it. Take the wood. Hope you enjoy the sausages, guys. Enjoy.
No, listen.
It's on
you guys-
us.
You guys don't understand. The guy
On
just
you
helped
guys.
us. He helped us.
Who
with
helped
what he
you?
did. The
What?
officer that told me something,
How
and
is
it's
that possible?
fine. So don't worry about it. It's fine. Nobody's going to.
Okay, maybe it's fine with you. It's not fine with me.
Well, we can't get mad about it.
Well, we
and
can
what are
agree
you
to
gonna do?
disagree.
You can't get mad about it, honey. You
Oh,
can't.
yeah?
You can't.
This is disgusting. Ottawa, please resign. Yes, you all should resign. This is gross. Gross. Frig. Unreal. So I guess this is what we're up against. We'll just start to see them steal everything from everybody all over Canada and everywhere else around the world that is here in Ottawa. Hope you guys enjoy everybody's things.
Go home and tell your kids that you're stealing firewood today.
Yeah, right? Let your kids know you stole firewood.
Listen, everybody, let's not forget why we're here. We're here to support the truckers and all of us independent people that are coming here so we can make Canada better. Let's just be happy and carry on, you guys.
I'm sorry,
Right on.
he's getting upset with me. I'm getting a little too passionate here, I think. I'm sorry. This is just a brand new experience, and I don't know how to feel about it.
So negative. It sucks, man. There was none of this here before, honey. There was none, and it just feels terrible.
Yeah, all over a sacred fire. That's what it's all about. So, I don't know.
It does not look like a safe load in that truck,
Well, they pretty much cleared it all out. That was pretty quick, eh? Not too much left. Make sure you get it all. May as well sweep underneath you while you're at it.
Are they leaving bricks behind? Oh, I love one, man. I need one.
Just gonna be quiet for a minute because some people are like getting a little too rambunctious here. So
His hands are cold.
oh, Muffin, why don't you steal some gloves?
Our hands are cold too.
Yeah. Well, they don't care. Don't give a shit.
Bet he's wishing he had that fire to warm up by.
Yeah, well, they'll have lots tonight though.
Oh yeah, they got all
Yeah,
their
they'll take
firewood.
that home now, yeah. How many cords of wood will
our
you'll not
barrel.
have to buy this winter? Yeah. Good on you, buddy. Score for your family. Too bad we're all jobless. You have a job and now you have all the wood and everything else. Wicked. I love it. That's the way the world works.
Cold hands, cold heart.
Cold hands, cold hearts. That's right, Crystal.
You can tell who had no friends growing up and decided to be a cop.
Oh my God.
Any of these cops have kids either.
I should hope not. Dear God, I'd hate to go home and tell their kids what they did today. That would be embarrassing.
They were jealous of the size of the sausage.
Oh my God, Crystal. Yeah, they took all those sausages. Oh man, everybody here was like, they were gonna cook food for all these people here because they just cook food for whoever walks by, right? So that's who they were for. But now, no, these guys are taking them all. So I don't know if they're gonna cook them there tonight and have their own little dinner, or I don't know. They took the barrel and all, so I imagine they're just gonna have their own little party in a hidden spot somewhere. I don't know. Look at them, every last piece. Get them all, get them all, get them all. It's taking you guys an awful long time. I can tell you don't work too hard regularly.
Oh, and they're even taking the cardboard.
Oh yeah, take the cardboard too. Take it all. Oh. Or are they going to leave the cardboard? Oh, or maybe they're just getting that later.
Communist squad. No, why not? So our neighbors to the north are clearly losing it. The Prime Minister, who needs a history lesson and a haircut, has declared war on Canadian citizens like they're an ISIS caliphate. Emergency powers, freezing bank accounts, and threatening to take away protesters' dogs and children. Dana Perino's very upset. It's getting so bad up there, government forces are even targeting innocent gelato shops, like this one here in Ottawa, Canada. Turns out, the owner of Stella Luna Cafe made a giant mistake. She privately supported the Freedom Truckers convoy with a $250 donation. Her donation then leaked and was made public. Her gelato shop was then doxxed and began receiving threats. Lunatics threatening her with violence and vandalism, treating her like a Salem witch, all because she showed her support for freedom. The owner of Stella Luna Gelato Cafe, Tammy Giuliani, no relation to Rudy, is here with us now. All right, Tammy, what exactly is going on up there with your shop?
Well, I should preface by saying that I have a tendency to think with my heart and not with my head. And does that get me in trouble? A lot. And would I change that about myself? Not in a million years. And when I heard about a group of people that were willing to drive all the way across the country in below 30 weather to gather peacefully in front of Parliament and to stand up for their beliefs and to say, you know, maybe this whole mandating the existence out of everyone needs to be revisited, my heart said no. And I don't think anyone, and I certainly don't think anyone could have imagined that it would have transformed into something like we're witnessing today.
Yeah, we're witnessing complete chaos, and I don't know how to describe it, but you probably know better than I do since you're up there. What has been the blowback for you and your shop, and what kind of threats and harassment have you faced after that donation was made public?
Well, you need to understand that Stella Luna is our livelihood, and my husband and our children and son-in-law all work for the business. It's how we pay our rent. It's how we keep our lights on. It's how we eat. So we feel very passionately about eating. And everyone has pushed really hard over the past 2 years trying to keep this business alive. So we have this passion, and it just keeps going on and on. So I reached into my personal pocket and I pulled out $250 of my personal money, and I gave a donation to fill a gas tank of someone so they didn't have to sleep in -30 in the cold that night. And I think that decision speaks to my humanity and not to political beliefs. But attacking our children, attacking our team, that's unconscionable. And I think never in my 56 years have I ever experienced a country so divided, so full of hatred towards friends and neighbors. Sorry, I lost you there. So full of hatred towards their friends and neighbors. You know, they may have opinions that differ from theirs, but they're so willing to publicly shame and humiliate and spew forth angry vitriol. You know, we have been called terrorist. For the first 36 hours, we were inundated with hatred, with threats of violence. People threatened our team on the phone, telling them we're coming to get you. We're going to throw bricks through your window. You'll pay for this, you Nazi supporter. I personally have been called a disgusting pig of a woman and that I should rot in hell. Our rural shop out in Merrickville, Ontario, someone draped a large bed sheet over our sign. I'm sorry. It's been a tough few days, and I think, you know, and the sign read, "Tammy supports terrorists." Now, Mama Bear is going to dig out her claws on that one, and we're getting the video surveillance and the incident, and we will pursue that with the police. But late yesterday afternoon, messages of support and encouragement started to arrive, and people from coast to coast to coast throughout Canada and the US. And, you know, they've been buying gift cards online and calling themselves guardian angels. So, you know, we're going to use those funds to help pay the staff for their missed shifts and get some security guards in and make sure everybody's safe and that they feel safe coming to work. But the phone has been ringing off the hook all day today from calls all over Canada, all over the US, sharing stories of losing their jobs because of bankruptcy or because they refused to get vaccinated, losing their homes. You know, we've heard tragic stories. I didn't think it was going to be this hard. But
I understand.
Just give me 1 second. You know, we've heard so many stories from people calling to support us because, you know, we're pretty insignificant and we're just a little gelato shop. And all we want to do is make really good gelato. And so to have our, you know, to be targeted and have our staff targeted and our children targeted, because I decided to reach in my pocket and, you know, fill the gas can of some guy I didn't want to see sleep in the cold overnight. You know, but our kids arrived at the shop today and there were heart-shaped balloons hanging from the door handle, and the window was covered with little sticky notes, and they were all these inspirational messages of encouragement. I think our favorite, which sums it up in a nutshell, so to speak, was somebody said, "Pistachios before politics."
That's wonderful. Well, Tammy, you are such a perfect person. I love you. The audience loves you. You're a total sweetheart. I can see how hard this has been for you, but how inspiring you've been for us and for the community up there. And we're at Jesse Waters Primetime. We're going to order a boatload of pistachio. I don't care how we get it here. We're going to get it here, and we're going to order a hell of a lot of it. So, you know, keep up the good fight.
One thing?
Yes.
One message I want to leave people with, and
Sure.
it's truly thank you so much for everyone, for all over, for contributing, buying gift cards. But we think we all need a healthy dose of positivity and love and respect, and we all need a whole lot less judgment and hate. And I think if people would just, before they open their mouth or they start tapping away on their keyboards, if they could just listen to their heart and find their humanity, the world would be better served.
Positive, optimistic, hopeful vision for public life isn't a naive dream. It could be a powerful force for change. If Canadians are to trust their government needs to trust Canadians. Those are the words of the Prime Minister in 2015. These people, very often misogynistic, racist, women haters, science deniers, the fringe. Same Prime Minister 6 years later as he fans the flames of an unjustified national emergency. So, Mr. Speaker, when did the Prime Minister lose his way? When did it happen?
You're right, Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Conservative Party members can stand with people who wave swastikas. They can stand with people who wave the Confederate flag. We will choose to stand with Canadians who deserve to be able to get to their jobs, who be able to get their lives back. These illegal protests need to stop, and they will, Mr. Speaker.
for Thornhill.
Unbecoming as a Prime Minister. It's been 48 hours that the government went from doing nothing to a national emergency. 48 hours into using the measures. 48 hours without providing Parliament with a justification. So my question is simple. When will the Prime Minister admit that he's lost control of the situation, that he's lost control of his country, that he's lost control of his caucus, and that he's lost control of his leadership?
Mr. Speaker, I've never seen such shameful and dishonourable remarks coming from this Prime Minister. My great-grandfather flew over 30 missions over Nazi Germany. My great-great-uncle's body lies at the bottom of the English Channel. There are members of this Conservative caucus who are the descendants of victims of the Holocaust. For the Prime Minister to accuse any colleague in this House of standing with the swastika is shameful. I'm giving the Prime Minister an opportunity. I'm calling on him to unreservedly apologize for this shameful remark.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Canadians deserve their freedoms back. Mr. Speaker, these illegal blockades that have continued to interfere with people's livelihoods, to interfere with people's daily lives,
have to interrupt the Honourable Prime Minister, so ask everyone to calm down so we can hear the answer. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the measures put forward in this Emergencies Act are proportional, are responsible, and quite frankly, are completely folded within the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. The steps that we are taking are important and measured to restore order and freedoms to Canadians in this country. That is exactly what we are doing.
Well, member for Sturgeon River, Parkland.
Mr. Speaker, the lack of an apology from that Prime Minister speaks volumes. I have given this Prime Minister an opportunity to retract a shameful remark where he would accuse any honourable member of this House to stand with a swastika. As I said before, we have colleagues who are the descendants of victims of the Holocaust. I'm giving the Prime Minister one more chance. Will he apologize to all members of this House?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, even as the members of the Conservative Party are calling to us to take more action over the past 2 weeks on this, they continued to stand with and encourage these illegal blockades. Mr. Speaker, Canadians are watching carefully and see exactly where the Conservative politicians who've stood with those blockades are standing. We will stand on the side of Canadians who deserve their lives back, who deserve their livelihoods back.
Member for Sturgeon River, Parkland.
My apologies, Mr. Speaker. I didn't write these out. But the fact is, I don't know how any member of the government caucus can stand by this Prime Minister when he accuses honourable members of this House of standing with a swastika. I'm calling on all members of the Liberal caucus to denounce the Prime Minister. I have given him 2 chances to apologize. He has refused to apologize. Mr. Prime Minister, apologize.
Now we have a point of order. The Honourable Member for Thornhill.
Mr. Speaker, I am a strong Jewish woman and a member of this House and a descendant of Holocaust survivors, and I have never it's never been singled out, and I have never been made to feel less, except for today when the Prime Minister accused me of standing with swastikas. I think he owes me an apology. I'd like an apology, and I think he owes an apology to all members of this House.
I want to encourage all members to be as judicious as possible when using words in this chamber. And to reflect on what they say on all cases. On a point of order, the honourable member for Regina Capel.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I just want to carry on with the point that was made by my colleague from Thornhill. You'll know, Mr. Speaker, that when comments made in the House are so injurious, so insulting, and so unparliamentary, they rise to the level of a question of privilege, Mr. Speaker. And as you know, you have the ability to rule on that immediately. What the Prime Minister did, I won't even go into the hypocrisy of the man who did blackface so often he can't remember it, accusing somebody else of doing anything remotely racist. But his comments made to a Jewish member of this House are beyond unparliamentary. They are reprehensible, and I would ask that you rule that this rises to the level of a question of privilege, and I am prepared to move the appropriate motion, Mr. Speaker.
I will take that under advisement and return to the House should I see fit. We have someone else who has a point of order as well. The same point. Okay, we'll carry on. The Honourable Minister for... I'm sorry, I was going to say family. Families, yes.
Emotions are obviously running very high right now, and I think it's incumbent on all of us to take a step back and reflect on what the values of this House are. I am also a proud Jewish woman who is the descendant of Holocaust survivors, and my family found refuge and support and a life in this country. And Mr. Speaker, we must listen to each other, and we must assure that no one in this House is standing with those who support white supremacy, who support Nazi views, who look to contribute and enable racist views. And Mr. Speaker, I would ask that all of us in this House use our words judiciously, including the member opposite who just yelled out something completely inappropriate, because all of us have reason to be here, and I would call on the members opposite not to stand with those who are sharing those views, because how does it feel as a person in this House seeing colleagues taking pictures with people who are looking to overthrow the government? That's what I ask those colleagues to do.
Matt Kingston.
Mr. Speaker, I don't think we should engage in an exercise in comparative victimhood credentials here. I will observe that I, too, have Jewish ancestors. My grandmother was born in Bialystok. She came here, fortunately, before the Holocaust occurred. But of the 10,000 Jewish residents of Bialystok when she left, only 500 survived World War II. I would just say that it's not for the member opposite, although I know she spoke sincerely to speak out on this. It is for the Prime Minister to come back and retract his words. The Prime Minister is very good at apologizing for acts that took place before he was born by people he wasn't involved in. It's time for him to take responsibility for his own words and apologize for what he said.
She turned a year old Christmas Eve, and her father died January 1st, and her uncle died July 29th. And my son Jake had another little girl born in May. My two granddaughters will never have a father. You know, their little 4-year-old nephew, Jake used to call him nephew Asher. And after Jake died, he said to his mother, "I'm so sad I'll not be anybody's nephew anymore." That's why I'm here, because they killed my son. You guys are actually breaking the law. Oh my God, I would stand up for you any day. I would, and you know, these boys would defend you or your children any day. Kane took so many homeless people home and helped them. Please stand up for freedom. Please stand up for the oath you took, for the constitutional, for the criminal code.
Do what's right. You guys can keep your camaraderie and brotherhood. You just stand together. Everybody, one please join us. Brotherhood doesn't have to be broken. You're not alone. You won't be alone.
people that will look after every one of you all. You can continue to serve and protect as you took the oath to do. Any of your brothers and sisters that judge you for backing down, they are a part of the problem. The camaraderie can all leave together. You don't need to worry about what superiors say, what your friends say. You're all friends and family under one.
People get to go home to their families. I don't get to go home to my family. My son Kane lived with me. We were in the middle of renovating my home when he died. Jake has plans of starting a new life in the new year. Both of my boys had so much hope and such an amazing future ahead of them, and they're both dead.
These truckers, the support that the truckers are getting are from the people, not from the government. And I think that, I'm telling you, I never thought that, I mean, this is a global movement. The whole world is watching, as much as the Canadian government and Trudeau is hoping they won't. Everyone's watching, and freedom is on the line in Canada, but this is a global movement.
It's also partly because, Will, not to be a cynic, but the calls for diplomacy that we get from our elites around the world are often a sham. They want to talk because it's the only thing they can do. They're impotent to the reality of what a strong man in Vladimir Putin is going to do. So Joe Biden, think about this. You're Zelensky, you're in charge of Ukraine, and who does America send? Kamala Harris, who's failed on every other task she's had, is going to go save the day at the last minute. They know America's response is futile in diplomacy. And
then in turn, Pete, this is why I think there's a hesitation on the behalf of Trudeau or other world leaders to even recognize, much less engage with these domestic protests, because should they, it reveals their own impotence.
That's right.
So the whole house of cards comes crashing down. If you show the power of people to actually stand up and voice their own rights is what dictates the future of a free country, not a mop-haired Gen Xer who wants nothing more, apparently, than to emulate China. We could, by the way, play for you that video this morning. Yeah. There's a viral clip where he literally said from his own words, I am envious of China and the way they can efficiently move policy forward.
And I've told you before, he admired Fidel Castro as well. But I think the other part of the reason, you're right, they don't want to expose their incompetence to the global leaders, but let's not mince words about it. The Western leaders are globalists. They're all intertwined. They're all elites. They are all in this together. They can't let this, Trudeau fail, because they're all in on it. They're all in.
And they're terrified of the working class people.
Exactly.
Who really believe the parchment paper that our founders wrote on about the Declaration and the Constitution and those first freedoms that they're given from God, not from government.
Natural rights, by the way, that aren't just American.
Absolutely. God-given natural rights. They're terrified of them because they want them to be government-given rights where they can be controlled. Yeah. And that's why those truckers can't be negotiated with from Justin Trudeau's perspective.
Yeah, this is bigger. This is so much bigger than Trudeau. This is about world leaders. This is about corporations, Jeff Bezos, the George Soros,
absolutely,
all the masters of the universe.
Well, it's getting loud here, Will.
It's getting real loud. There's a car literally.
Noon, horses began trampling Canadians as they protested. You're seeing that footage on your screen right now. The horses ran over several demonstrators, including a woman on a mobility scooter. Reportedly, one man had a heart attack in the face of all of this, at least one. Instead of helping, the police stood around him. This kind of violence, sponsored by Justin Trudeau, continued all day. Police repeatedly tackled Canadians, arrested them for the act of protesting, journalists for the act of filming it.
So the officers out there, I know everyone's seen many images through the day, have been nothing short of exceptionally professional all day. We have a plan. We articulated that plan to them, and they have executed it extremely well throughout the day.
There's a bit of a standoff.
Peace, love, and happiness. Peace. We are at peace.
And happiness. Here we go. Here come the horses. Hold the line. Okay. Oh, come on through. Come on through. What is happening here? Wow. What is this lady doing? Trampling. Trampling horses. Trampling. Stop it. Stop it. Look. Oh my God. Oh my God. They just trampled this lady. They just trampled that lady. They just fully trampled that lady. They just fully trampled that lady. Here's the lady. Here's the lady that was trampled.
The level of professionalism that they're seeing in the face of taunts, slurs towards them is challenging, but we're seeing their ongoing professionalism every minute of every day.
Medic! Medic! You're okay.
Pepper spray is out. Hold her, hold her.
We stand on guard.
Hold my hand.
Ain't nobody has one.
Second casualty on me.
Ask me.
Hold my hand.
Hold my
This way. Hey, check, c'est le gars qui est dans l'itinérant. Pepper spray is being deployed. Oh, hey! Come on! Look at this. Oh, no. Right out of Ottawa?
But we're seeing their ongoing professionalism every minute of every day.
Oui, attendez-vous 2 secondes. Mon collègue va parler. Si vous voulez juste vérifier l'anglais en partant. Vous êtes prêts? Attendez juste 2 secondes.
Justin Trudeau, who actually marched with BLM protesters and thought that that was just fine.
On se réessaye, on va juste tester l'anglais pour commencer.
English, this is English channel.
English is good.
English channel. English channel.
C'est très bon.
1, 2.
That's a lot of money.
Et voilà en français. Alors, je crois que c'est bon pour l'instant. Ouais, ça a l'air beau de notre côté ici. OK.
Taking more jerry cans! Cops stealing more cans! Cops stealing more cans! I don't even think they have the names on those cans. It'd be very hard to give them back after the court had already told they can't take them. But no, the cops like the jerry cans. Want to make sure the truckers don't have enough heat so they can freeze at night. Yeah, sure, no problem. Back up while you're stealing somebody's property, no problem. Sounds like a great idea.
Wow. Thank you! Thank you so much!
communist squad. Oh, have a good day. No, why not?
Coming quick, quick. Oh shit. Whoa, they're running. They got the spray. They're pushing hard. Oh shit. Wow. I've never seen an advance like this. They're running. The one cop's grabbing his other one, telling him not to go that far. That guy's doing too much.
You're okay. Come with me. 10 for this. The veterans of the War Memorial, their red tent has bottles of water. Someone take my flag, Someone take my flag.
Chemical weapons used against them. So here's a woman with pepper spray on the face. You know how it is, guys. Chemical weapons on their own people. And you know if I check out the RF meter, we're also getting fried. Let's check that right now.
Lots of people are coming by.
Everyone's running and shit.
What's going on? Why everybody go there? Oh, the line is really more close. So that means that all night police have pushed a little bit further the line. The line is now where is Elgin Street, so that passed the War Memorial during the night. But people are still there holding the line. I will be almost like at 11 today. We will be like, I'm not kidding, 24 hours. Now we have two tank. Police still there. And they still advance. Whoa. That's a lot of police. With the tank.
Move back! What's your name?
All right.
Pull back! Wait. No time, Bush. We'll move. Okay. Communication works.
So now they look like really determined.
Do not have to use excessive force and assault these people. They are your people. Don't forget that. Everyone's all right?
They take the time that people went to sleep.
I see your earring. Earring. There she is. All right. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, listen, I'm recording right now, so I want you to repeat what you said to me. You say you went to Ottawa for the, I assume you went for the trucker rally, and
yeah.
What happened now? Repeat what you said.
When you reach Ontario, they cut everything. They cut the, you couldn't take no pictures in Ottawa. There was no,
internet?
No internet, nothing, no, for the cars, direction, nothing.
So you're telling me that there was no GPS?
No. Shelters, they knew how to get there.
Holy shit. So as soon as you get to Ottawa, there's no GPS. There's no, there's no Wi-Fi, there's no nothing.
Hey,
like they cut.
I even tried to, with the video, I put my video.
Yeah, live, like Facebook Live.
And when I go to playback, there was nothing.
You're telling me that you even took video on your phone and you went to go play it back and it was gone.
It wasn't there.
Oh my God.
I tell you, it's bad there.
Now do you understand? Now do you understand what I was talking about? When I said that they go right into your phone, and take your videos away from you. Right in your phone.
Oh yeah.
You're not even filming live. You're just filming a video, and they go in your phone and take it. You see what I'm talking about?
I was on the video to tape all the cars and everything. The noise, forget it.
Gone. Unbelievable. Now you understand what I'm talking about? When I say that they want to stop us, they want to shut us up. It's not a joke. They really are doing these things. They're doing them. You seen it. You fucking seen it. You saw. So I'm not crazy. They did it to you.
No.
Madam Speaker, there is indeed an emergency in this country. Indeed, there are a series of emergencies. There's the emergency of the family whose 14-year-old daughter has attempted suicide after 2 years of isolation from sports, social interaction, and other healthy activities that sustain a happy and heartful mind. There is the emergency of the federal public servant who, for unrecognized medical reasons, can't get vaccinated and is now deprived of an income and a job. There's the emergency of the trucker who was hailed as a hero while driving our goods and services across international borders, unvaccinated, over 2 years, who suddenly was declared a public health threat and deprived of his job as well. There is the emergency of the 32-year-old still living in his mom's basement because, under the pretext of COVID, government printed so much money that it now costs $836,000 for the average house. There is the emergency of the single mother trembling as she walks down the grocery aisle because she can't afford a basket of affordable goods because the government has inflated her cost of living. There is the emergency created by the regulatory gatekeepers who keep people in poverty by blockading First Nations people from the ability to develop their own resources and blockade immigrants from the ability to work in the very professions for which they are trained and qualified. These are the emergencies we should be addressing. But instead, the Prime Minister has created a new emergency. What is his motivation? Of course, it is to divide and conquer. How did this all start? Well, let's remember, the Prime Minister suddenly imposed a brand new vaccine mandate on the very truckers who had been free to travel across borders without a vaccine, and he did it at a time when provinces and countries around the world were removing vaccine mandates. He did it to a group of people who are by far the least likely to transmit a virus because they work and sleep all by themselves 22 hours a day. Media asked his health minister and his chief medical officer for evidence supporting the decision. Neither had any, and in fact, the medical officer said it was time to return to normalcy. So yet, the Prime Minister, in spite of all of these facts, brought in this new mandate to deprive people of their living. Why? Because he knew that it would spark in them a sense of desperation. If he could deprive them of their incomes, they would be so desperate that they would have to rise up and protest, and then he could further demonize them and call them names and attack their motives and belittle them and dehumanize them in order to galvanize the majority against the minority. This must be the political opportunity that his Deputy Prime Minister spoke about when she described what COVID represented to this government. They have attempted to amplify and take advantage of every pain, every fear, every tragedy that has struck throughout this pandemic in order to divide one person against another and replace the people's freedom with the government's power. Now, at the beginning of the pandemic, it started immediately. The government attempted to ram through a law giving it the power to raise any tax to any level for any reason without a vote in Parliament. They tried to pass Bill C-10 to strip away free speech online. Thankfully, Conservatives blocked them for doing so. His authorities have said they want to track Canadian cell phones for the next 5 years. And now this, the Emergency Act, the latest and greatest example of attacks on our freedom. Ostensibly meant to stop blockades that had already ended before he even brought forward this legislation in Alberta, Manitoba, and at the Ambassador Bridge. Peacefully, those blockades were ended in some cases with protesters hugging the police officers and bringing the matters to a successful close so that goods and services could resume. And instead, in that context, the Prime Minister brought in a law that not even Jean Chrétien brought in after 9/11 killed dozens of Canadians in a terrorist attack. Not even Prime Minister Harper brought in when a terrorist murdered a Canadian soldier at the War Monument and came running into the centre block spraying bullets in all directions. And not even this Prime Minister brought in when blockaders were standing in the way of First Nations who were attempting to build the Coastal GasLink pipeline. Yet, for the first time in this bill's this law's three-decade history, the Prime Minister brings it in to address what he says was a protest in front of Parliament Hill. Ironically, this power goes beyond any of the protests and/or blockades the Prime Minister claims to want to address. For example, it will allow governments and banks to seize people's bank accounts and money for donating to the wrong political cause. One journalist asked the Justice Minister if small sums donated, for example, to support an end to vaccine mandates, could get someone's bank account frozen. He didn't deny it. Instead, he said such people who make donations of that kind should be, quote, very worried. To freeze someone's bank account is not just an attack on their finances, but on their personal security. If your bank account is frozen, you can't buy food, you can't buy fuel, you can't pay your children's daycare fees, and you can, under this law, face that personal attack without being charged with a single solitary crime. The Prime Minister says that this is time-limited, yet his own Finance Minister said she wants some of the tools to be permanent. He said it will be geographically targeted, yet his own Parliamentary Secretary for Justice said, quote, that the Act technically applies to all of Canada. So the rules apply everywhere and indefinitely. Finally, there's nothing in the Act that limits the number of the kinds of financial actions that could lead someone to have their account frozen. And if they are frozen unjustifiably, the Act specifically bans people from suing either the bank or the government for that unjustifiable treatment, opening the door for people who have nothing whatsoever to do with either the blockades or protests having their bank accounts frozen without cause. Now, the Prime Minister says that he wants to do this to remove the blockades that have already been removed. He says he needs these unprecedented powers in order to restore, to bring our country's order back to the pre-protest period, although across this country that has already occurred. So, Madam Chair, I say to this House that I oppose this unjustifiable power grab, and as Prime Minister of Canada, I will ensure that no such abuse of power ever happens again. But I say that we should end some of these blockades. Let us.
Order. Again, you know, the Honourable Parliamentary Secretary has been here when I've ruled I don't know how many times today, and there's other members that may not have been. Oh no, I'm sure that the Honourable member that also has been yelling or heckling across the way was here as well. So I just again want to ask members to please hold on to their thoughts. I will be recognizing for questions and comments pretty soon. There's a minute and 50 seconds left for the Honourable member for Carleton to do his speech. And I would hope that people will hold their thoughts. The Honourable member for Carleton.
And we can remove all of the blockades. Let's remove the mandates and restrictions that are blocking people's livelihoods today. Let's end the blockades on freedom of speech that this government is trying to erect with its online censorship bill. Let's end the regulatory blockades so builders can provide affordable homes, First Nations can develop their economies and escape poverty, and newcomers can actually work in the professions for which they were trained. Let's remove the inflationary taxes, deficits, and money printing so people's wages can again buy them homes, food, and fuel. Let's remove that blockade. Let us put people back in control of their lives by making Canada the freest place on earth, free to speak, free to think, free to work, free to worship, free to own a home and build one's own destiny. Let us bind up the nation's wounds with compassion and respect and unite our country for freedom.
Questions et commentaires, questions and comments. The Honourable Member for Hamilton East, Stony Creek.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I heard today many comments that were more to do with a leadership campaign than helping the people of Ottawa and people from communities across the country who've been impacted by the blockade. So not once did I hear about the City of Ottawa and what the residents have had to face for the last couple of days. This is all about political opportunism. And so I'd ask the member, is he concerned about helping the people of Ottawa and those across the country who've been impacted by blockades and by the occupation? Thank you.
It's on the opposite side that we're hearing the heckling, and I know very well that the honourable member for Carleton can answer those questions without any help. The honourable member for Carleton.
Well, am I concerned about the people who have been harmed by blockades? Absolutely. And that is why I am so disappointed that the Prime Minister caused these blockades in the first place. And I am concerned about the businesses that were affected, and I am also concerned about the governmental blockades that remain in place today. The attacks on the freedoms of Canadians to have a job, to go to work, to frequent restaurants, to raise their kids, to have their kids smile and have that smile seen again. Those are the blockades that we now need to focus on eliminating, and that's what I will continue to fight for.
Questions and comments. The Honourable Member for Rivière du Nord. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to ask my colleague, first of all, I thank him for his speech. I share many of his points. There is an emergency that needs to be addressed by the government, but would he agree with me that the situation that we experienced on the Hill for the past 3 weeks are situations that could be resolved here and elsewhere if the government had attacked these issues right away when they occurred, rather than waiting and coming forward with the heavy artillery and the Emergencies Act every time there is a problem? Should they not address it immediately? We're not talking about demonstrators. We're talking about people who were occupying Wellington. Could that not have resolved the issue instead of invoking this act?
La réponse.
The answer is yes. Besides addressing the problem that demonstrators were talking about, the Prime Minister provoked these demonstrations. He attacked truckers' jobs, other jobs, even when the rest of the world was starting to lift these restrictions and vaccine mandates. And now he's acting to lift restrictions and to allow people to go back to work. He should stand in the House of Commons to reject this unacceptable power grab and give back to Canadians their freedoms.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I'd like to thank my colleague from Carleton. The member from Carleton, colleague, the MP for Cypress Hills Grassland, appeared in a video with convoy leader Pat King, an avowed white nationalist who's quoted as saying many racist, xenophobic, anti-Indigenous, and anti-Semitic things, including, in quotes, the Anglo-Saxon race has the strongest bloodlines, and that, in quotes, unless we fight back, we will all be speaking Hebrew. Close quotes. Through you, Madam Speaker, if he was elected leader of the Conservative Party, would he be willing to kick this member out of caucus, or does he support fraternizing with dangerous white supremacists? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The honourable member for Carleton.
From the very beginning, I stated that every single person who acts inappropriately, makes racist comments, engages in unlawfulness, or blockades should be personally responsible for their conduct. And that is something that I would uphold as leader and as Prime Minister. And I can say that I would not tolerate any of the racist behavior that we have seen from the current Prime Minister, whether it is his ugly racist past, whether it is the racist manner with which he has treated numerous members of his caucus who have spoken out against it, whether it is continuing to give $1 billion to the CBC, an organization of whose 500 employees have said that organization is systematically racist. I will not tolerate any of that racism in my future government.
Videmus omnes